Boy, write a few things on the board. What are we covering today? We're doing another scenario based thing.
Allie, can you toss that call?
Oh.
Block it for you.
Thank you.
They really come all.
Now we're CFWI PowerPoint is coming.
I'm starting, but I'm really overwhelmed because the first one is really aircraft flight instruments and navigational equipment, and it is every flight instrument, and like
Yes.
CFWI is 3 whole PowerPoints. How do you present that in a way that doesn't make them like sleep on the first presentation that you do?
That is a good question.
How did you do it? Did you do 1 PowerPoint or 3 different PowerPoints?
So I believe I broke it down with that topic in 3 PowerPoints.
And then who'd you go with?
Barry.
Did he make you do all 3?
I think I just need VOR.
Not even pedostatic?
Maybe
Usually they
VOR
care
and
about that.
static.
Okay, so did he ask you like, hey Corey, go to VOR, or was it the first one?
No, so I followed, are you following like Wi-Fi, CFI or anything like that?
Wi-Fi CFII slides I have, and then just the ETS.
Okay, so I don't know, how do they have it structured? Is VOR the first one? I don't.
On the second PowerPoint, but then Nick
Okay.
said all he really did, because he wrote a gap, was pedostatic, so maybe I should put pedostatic on the top of my first PowerPoint and maybe VOR at the bottom of the first, and then my other 2 PowerPoints just.
I wouldn't necessarily worry about like the order of, like whether it's the first topic of that PowerPoint, just like do it in whatever order, do it in the order of the PTS, do it in the order of Wi-Fi, CFI, like however it comes, don't add extra work for yourself.
Okay.
If he wants you to do VOR and it's the 30th slide of the 3rd PowerPoint, just be like, all right, let me go and pull that up and go to it.
Okay.
Don't worry about it being the first one.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
How long are you balancing yourself for this CFI to CFWI? How long are you allowing for yourself?
I want to get it done in less than 2 weeks if there's someone available. Yeah, I want to get it done because your CFI initial is a lot of work. It's like 60 slides. Your CFII is like 14. It's like a quarter of the work, so we should be able to get it done in less than 2 weeks.
Welcome.
I can't believe.
What were you talking about? She said your CFI is
Just like slides.
Oh.
It's do your slides now. Yeah.
oh yeah, I was talking to Erin about that. Oh,
Good.
just put on my glasses on the topic because I'm going to forget them.
Alright, don't start yet, we're gonna wait for Chad to get back in here and I think Justin should be here as well, but this is.
Can we do a different destination airport, because we have done this one in class before.
I mean, it doesn't hurt to do it again. It forces you.
Okay, then I'm gonna make it a lot harder, it's gonna take more time, so.
Where do you wanna go? Tell them the destination,
I don't know, let's go to.
Yeah, you can't-
Phoenix.
be the instructor. Look it up on your iPad, see how challenging it is. You've already done a cross-country flight plan. Present it, or like, choose your identifier and then have everyone, you know what I mean?
Mhm, mhm.
Do a chorus drop. I mean, that's just for fun, if you want, you don't have to. You're gonna be doing it anyway, there's a double I.
Honestly, yeah, pilot. I'm just thinking of like.
Alright. Thank you. To Ethan. We are now going to KAPA, which is just outside of Denver. So that now I would suggest getting a start on it since we're going further.
Oh, that's far.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Ethan.
Just choose a known route, even if it's not all the way, like if it's a known route, just like part of the way, right?
Mhm.
San Pablo, whatever, halfway, and then from the rest of the way you can do, that way it cuts your work in half.
True, true. I'm gonna act like there's no weather. Not a thunderstorm, dealing with this now. Bless you.
That's you.
Thank you.
So you guys may and should work together. You don't have to sit next to each other, but you feel.
Are we using slings, maximum ceilings as well?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's too high.
Is it too high?
Yeah,
It might be.
I don't think it's possible on this wing.
Well, let's just pretend like we're flying a different airplane.
Can we just go back with Vegas?
We gotta fly all the way
Oh,
around.
motherfuckers.
You got it, no, you got it.
I mean, it wasn't me that said anything. Just saying.
I do see the terrain, and to be honest, I just picked the airport that's far away to prove a point, and
No, let's do it,
that backfired into my face.
no going back now.
We're in whatever plane you wanna be in. Get us to Denver.
We're gonna make it fun.
We're in a Boeing
I'm
7.
gonna go rent a jet in Miramar.
Yes. They're actually free at Miramar too.
I'll be with you all, you guys can be passengers. We'll have fun, bring animals, have a dog in the back.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
They're free?
For free.
Yeah, you could just climb over the fence and just go get in one and take it, and like, they won't.
There was actually a case where someone actually did that.
Yeah, they're crazy.
I mean, I'm just going to keep this route. Because everything else.
Yeah, y'all have a route already?
Yeah.
Okay.
You didn't say we couldn't use the routes.
Did not say that, that is correct.
And we're doing alternate too, right?
Mhm.
Awesome.
There's a fire above
For where?
Denver,
What does it say?
during descent. There's negative turbulence below 100.
And it's good news.
Are we just ignoring the weather
So-
path?
Well, what kind of weather is it?
Thunderstorms.
More questions makes it more difficult.
My bad.
Get
I was like, brought up anyway.
It's those early morning fires.
Oh, we're just doing something.
It was simple until Ethan started asking questions. So, if weather's a factor, if there's thunderstorms, guess what? You're planning a different route around them. So now your route is changing.
That's
And you delete.
So my suggestion from here on out, and this isn't directed at anybody. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 bullet points on the screen. If it's not a question about those 7 bullet points, I would not ask it. Otherwise, there will be 8 bullet points and then 9.
Because we already know if to fly any type of aircraft we want.
Yeah, so if you need to go up to 15,000, go up to 15,000. If you need to go up to 21,000, go up to 21,000.
Straight through the thunderstorm.
Straight through it.
you get that.
There's a brown, so you can like try and fix it.
Oh. Which one?
I'm sitting on the obstacle one, can't figure out what's going on, so I'm back down here tonight.
No, that's serious. To get no stress.
Oh, yeah, I'm trying to get it, but we're supposed to show it to somebody on Saturday to try to sell it too.
Good.
He's paying me, but also with the 5-year plan. Put as much time on as I can.
Oh, make sure you're still.
Yeah. But I thought he's super critical.
I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, I'm definitely falling behind, like I'm not prioritizing the study, which I should be, but. This opportunity is covered.
We have a lot of opportunity, but feel fixated to one thing.
I mean, if you help, but I can't help with like too much maintenance because I'm my cities, but I can help it. You're sick.
Yeah, for sure, but.
There's an access, there's a firefighting note in the school. Let's go through it. No, I'm kidding.
Bless you. Bless you.
Just here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You by chance do it, no rifle?
What you mean?
Did you choose to do a rifle or?
Um, I mean, no.
Yeah.
I just drew. I'm just gonna pretend it's failure. The same feeling is non-existent.
Why do people think, wow, I just know myself. You're able to reflect, you watch them. Just remember.
Well, yeah, but I just prioritize this. There's not a lot of good alternates.
Well, backwards VFR, so. Well, I would just go for someplace with more.
Okay. The elevation is super high over there.
So you're sort of not restricted this time, taking it up here.
Sure. Could have been an easier one, or we could have pretended to do it in a sling,
I'm still pretending to do it, honestly.
but then we had to change airports.
I'm just going to this saber ceiling, so it's a little bit off.
I feel like I missed a lot of controversy this morning.
You showed up 15 minutes late.
Just too many questions were asked. That's all.
Keep asking questions, is what he's telling you.
What if I gave you this? I'm not gonna tell you what it is. But I want you to decide collectively as a group. If you ask one more question, a change will be made. A change may add one more thing to it, or may make it way better.
Or if it's a comment, that sort of sounds like a question.
Make a comment or question. This will be changed, and it could either add small extra step, or it can make it way better.
Sorry for your rules this morning.
Going once.
No idea what you're talking about.
Good job, Corey.
This is question that's related
It's
to
a
the
nice
first time.
comment.
Question.
What?
Question was asked. I gave you the option of a riddle. We're gonna do this. I wanna do this, we're gonna do this. Ally, sorry if you started working.
Wait, they just put all the, can we discuss?
If you wanna discuss.
Yeah, let's
Yeah,
learn
that's
from
the
it
one.
after.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been 45 minutes, let's learn from it, right?
Okay,
I'm curious if I got things wrong.
well,
I'm 99%
discuss.
sure I did.
Who wants to talk first?
You should go out. Oh, where's the other out?
Anybody?
Uh-oh.
I didn't put this together like in there.
Don't.
I didn't cover two of the things yet, but
So you ready to discuss or no?
I'm ready.
Okay,
might as well start.
start it off.
But it's fine.
Okay.
From
I
KSEE.
couldn't find an easy departure procedure that directly connects me to Julian.
Okay,
So to save myself the risk of like a DP saying, oh, what if you had lost comms in this scenario? I just did the departure, mission based departure. But maybe I'm not looking at it correctly, maybe there's like an easier,
is a departure procedure required?
no, you could just ask for vectors.
Yes,
Okay,
even so, when you just do like half of the mission bay to departure, and they would just vector you onto your route.
Yeah, but like,
I would have done the same thing, Kimberly.
yeah, just to be precautious. If a DP were to ask, oh,
Exactly.
yeah,
That's good.
okay, good.
yeah. And then I did Victor two, I ignored the service ceilings, I'm sorry.
That's fine.
Okay. So Victor 208, I just kept going. On Victor 208. And just kept following it. There's not a lot of airports in this section, so it's something to be cautious of. See, it's like really, really, you know, isolated.
Mm-hmm.
The Victor 291. And then because of this icing movement, I decided to like switch it from the Victor 210. So I just kept going and plus it's slower. And I kept going to the Victor 95, and then I just used the Victor 95 to get me to Denver.
Okay,
So, for Denver, I'm using the RNAV GPS approach.
why?
Just because it's suitable for the winds that was currently at that airport.
Okay,
And then as my alternate, I kept looking around. So the ILS for right here, it required DME or something else. So I didn't want to choose that one. But this one, the ILS for Denver. This one, there's radar or GPS required, which we have. Might be missing something just because I didn't really have time to like look through it thoroughly. But it just seemed like the most suitable one for the area. I was looking over here. And I was thinking of elevation, but honestly, I think this would be a no-go in general for me.
even if you were in a plane that was capable and you're proficient with the plane,
I mean, it's like, that's a hypothetical, that's too hypothetical for me to say yes or no, just because, you know, there's many factors to, or implications with like, you know, going on a new plane.
well, hypothetically, it's a plane you've flown, it's a plane you're comfortable with, it's a plane you fly on a daily basis. We're not necessarily limiting ourselves to sling, it's just choosing the route, choosing an approach and going. Like, let's just say this was your job and you did this type of flight all the time, and then you were tasked to go here. So you're familiar, you're proficient, you're working a job where you do this every day. So don't try to like think about that, where this is a hypothetical situation, just where we're planning routes and approaches.
Yes, I mean, I don't know, correct me if there's anything I'm missing.
I think it looks good.
Yeah, so I wanted to use this one just because of the lower elevation, but it's only RNAV. Since my primary airport is based on an RNAV, I'd rather just, for redundancy's sake, so like have a different one.
Okay,
So I have a question. question.
Yes.
Big picture here. And maybe we can answer it here. What are some considerations when choosing? What runway? You said weather. That's the first place I go. What are some other
I
considerations?
choose the wind, so if you look at this, at the airport, there's not a lot of, like the RNAV, hold on, let me just pull it out.
So wind is excellent. Is
Yeah,
there any other considerations, and this could be for Justin or Ethan, that you wanna
equipment,
think big picture when you're choosing a runway? What other things can you consider?
Are you talking like the anglage between direction you're heading towards the runway versus the actual runway?
Yeah, so I guess we were coming from the southwest and Kimberly chose an initial approach fix that's right there. She just has to go to the east a little bit. And I think it did take her off route, so that's one consideration. So it's good which way you're coming from, and I think she did a good job. Maybe the off route is an additional.
I mean, I just chose the initial approach fix, so.
And that
Mhm.
off route area, a DP might go into that, but there's also one more thing that I'm thinking of right now.
If I'm thinking the same thing, it's a big one.
Runway length. That was it, Justin said it. So what's the longest runway here? Is there any kind of approach that goes in there that allows us to stay in our direction and with a headwind, right?
There's an ILS with 3.5, right?
Is that still in the headwind?
No.
It's only 10.
Let me check the weather.
I'm gonna play devil's advocate.
I mean, 2.8.
So
that's
2.8,
3.5,
it would be
that's
the best one, 3.5 right, and 3.5 left, or 1.7 right, they don't have, they have. I mean.
Yeah, and you have.
And I'm not saying it's wrong, I just had something else, that's what, like, we're just making a conversation. But I think that since it is good for weather, Kimberly's gonna expect ATC, it's a controlled airport, they're gonna give her that runway, right? I was thinking out loud, not said blocks.
I'd like to argue that it's still better to choose like runway 3.5 using the RNAV or ILS because of the fact the winds aren't strong enough to be a worry.
But prep for both, right?
I'm gonna play devil's advocate. Clouds are at 6,100.
You could stretch.
Okay, let's see. how-
This hypothetical situation, right? So what's another thing we consider when choosing an approach?
6,000.
Because what don't we wanna have to do? You don't wanna have to go missed, right, and divert. So when choosing a runway and or approach, what's another consideration we might make?
That's fine. It's only 3.
The alternate? Are you
No.
talking about that?
So we're flying in the clouds. When can we decide if we land or not? When we're on an approach.
Yeah. Once we reach our BA or MDA and we have airport. vision.
Okay, so when we pop out of the clouds, right?
Yes,
So what's the consideration we might make when choosing an approach?
the equipment.
No,
It's down sooner.
what gets us down lower? Which approach has the lower minimums?
Reduce ILS.
Now, we're debating about runway 2.8 or runway 3.5, right? 2.8 might be the better. And I might have given a bad cloud ceiling,
Good
but
point.
what I'm trying to get to is
Right.
what gets us down lower? Right, and if runway 2.8 and 3.5 are in debate, 2.8 might favor the winds a little better, right? Or let's just say 3.5 favored the winds a little better, but 2.8 gets us down a little lower. Maybe that's a consideration we make, right? We practice landing with crosswind. As long as it's not like a direct tailwind, if there's a little crosswind and it gets us down lower, maybe that's a consideration we make as well. And I think the RNAV 2.8 got us a little lower, like 7 feet lower, which even less than that, like 6 feet lower, which in the grand picture probably won't make a big difference, but there are some approaches where the minimums might be a couple 100 feet lower,
Yeah.
and that might be something we think about.
And on my check guide, I wrote all the considerations down on the board and like went through them, so there wasn't additional questions. Because they're gonna like love to pick your brain, so just be ready for it, and that's why I asked that question. So in this case, actually, Kimberly, $50 is better for the win, ATC is probably give it to you,
Yeah,
you can have 3.5s longer, so
yeah.
that's like really good. But then the initial approach fix is off route, and DPs are gonna do a lost con scenario right there, if they see that. So just in your flight plan, even if you have to go 20 miles out of the way, don't go off route.
If you look at like most IFR routes, like if you, let's just say, fly here to Torrance, VFR, and you pick all these different waypoints, you're gonna choose what's most efficient, you're gonna choose what keeps you out of certain airspace, right? But if you choose an IFR route, a lot of times the IFR route is a little longer. And it might be a little longer to set you up better for the approach. Might be a little longer for terrain, it might be a little longer for multiple reasons. And you'll typically see that with IFR routes, that sometimes it's okay to go a little bit out of the way if it sets you up better for the better runway, better approach, things like that.
In the end, the likelihood ATC will just vector you to make it shorter is pretty high, right?
Likelihood, yeah, it'll give you a direct to it or give you a vector.
I mean, don't rely on likelihood because
Don't rely on
a lot of
likelihood.
traffic and they could be busy, so you could just, yeah, I don't know.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Does anybody have anything drastically different? Ally?
No, I think that was excellent, good-
Anybody
good work.
choose any other runway, any other approach?
I did 3.5, but
And what's your justification for that?
Yeah.
So we can all hear it?
just a longer runway, yeah, and I think that it's excellent you went around the icing, it does start at 15,000, but who says you can't drop lower? But as long as it's not visible moisture, you can fly, under 0 degrees Celsius, right? So
Mhm.
moderate icing is where you can no longer maintain altitude, is that it? What's that? They defined it, does anyone know? It's like light, it's trace, light, moderate, or severe.
I'm looking at you.
And they do an AirMet Zulu and it's moderate. So I think that's like to the point where flight controls don't allow you to like properly maintain or altitude or something.
Yeah, if I had the choice, I would just choose to fly around icing regardless of its level of severity.
Even if there's no visible moisture, like blue skies.
No, if it's blue skies, that's fine. So I'm saying, we're assuming we're INC. And realistically, are we gonna probably be in the clouds at 15,000 feet? Probably not. But Colorado, if it's in that area, right, are we gonna probably see clouds at mountaintops? Probably. So maybe it's realistic that we are in the clouds, at 15,000 feet over Colorado area. So,
I liked how the alternates also, I know this is switching gears to our second week. But I think they were all controlled airports too, just in case like you do need assistance,
mhm.
cause there's a lot of uncontrolled there that you could have chosen.
Yeah, exactly.
So according to weather.gov, moderate icing is significant accumulation for shorter periods of. So rate of accumulation, moderate is significant accumulation for shorter periods of flight. And then for airframe ice accumulation, moderate rate of accumulation is such that event short encounters become potentially hazardous and use of de-icing / anti-icing equipment or flight diversion is necessary. So there's that moderate for you. Good. I thought that was good. You put a lot of thought into the small details, or big details, but small details in a long, big flight.
Do you guys have anything? Or like any other considerations that?
I mean, I did for weather, but that's the main difference.
So how did that change it?
You went east instead of northeast,
For which part?
that part.
Is that a convective segment? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. just ignore that.
Just go right through it. Kimberly's dad was.
I flew directly east through Phoenix.
I went down to Phoenix too, but I don't see that segment there anymore.
Strong enough?
What are some other?
I still see it, well, okay, so
It's coming.
here's the thing, it's supposed to disappear in an hour,
Yeah.
Yeah,
but. Assumptions get people killed, can we assume that a thunderstorm is gonna disappear in an hour, right? We can weather plan and flight plan the best we can, but weather is constantly changing, so. I think it was
I think moved.
a good catch and possibly a good decision to avoid that area.
how long was your flight comparatively? Because mine in a sling would be 8 hours, 42 minutes, and yours.
9. 9 hours.
Any other comments? In differences
It's this
in
week,
routing?
42,000, there's a new ice in there, man. So
That's a short up for me.
Yeah, but
you would just have to,
I do see people out.
yeah,
Yeah, I went more straight east down to Phoenix and then north from there.
So you're avoiding both the thunderstorm area and the icing area.
Well, you kind of cut through the corner of the icing, because there's a CFR to the south there, but you can be below the icing.
yeah, it just moved.
Yeah, I'm south of the thunderstorm. And north of that from TFR and firefighting activity.
Cool.
What altitude does the ice aeromet go to?
14 to 26. Yeah, it is true. There is that TFR there over Gallup and the MEA for the Victor 95 that cuts the corner of the icing is 11,000. It does change over to 13,000 as you get out of the icing airmet. So theoretically, yes, you could be under it the whole way.
I guess we should have switched to altitude high charts for a portion of this, shouldn't we?
When do altitude high charts start?
Flight level 0.
Okay, so did anybody plan their route or their altitude above 180?
No, but there was one MEA that went up to 16.
Alright, so could we stay on IFR low?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Ethan is getting himself ahead. Getting himself carried away.
yeah, I think IFR low charts would be sufficient to use for this route, even with the 16.4, so. Okay. Let's take a 5 to 10 minute break. And then we'll do a shorter example. Bielski. Oh.
you just look screen sharing. Oh, and can we are solid to do the micro session?
After this, okay, yeah, 9 to 11,
Yes.
okay.
Kelly, your son, dad saw the commander on Facebook.
Yeah,
You see him to look at it on Saturday?
I don't know, we're just thinking about it.
So there's a UPS captain that's supposed to come look at it on Saturday.
No, I don't think that's him.
Okay, that's a weird coincidence.
Yeah.
Hello. That's not us.
Ellen?
Yeah.
No, they just used him as a poster, a face for the poster.
Why is it so cold?
I don't know, but 68.
You should change it. It just.
It's gonna, I'm telling you, if we change it, it's gonna be 82. It's either 68 or 82. There's like no in between. You'd rather have it be 80 degrees in here? Really?
No, but they turn it up 1 degree. I don't know why they always go 10 degrees every time. They
Yeah,
can literally just go 70 instead
I
of
have to turn it up 4 degrees.
It's like hotter outside than here.
I know.
Like, warmer
freezing.
outside.
Actually,
And it's cold.
rigid.
We're turning into a little Nazi place, right? Even adjust the temperature without taking protest, so I turn it off.
I mean, I wanted at 72, but if the standard operating procedures are either 68 or off, then I guess.
Just put it on 47. You don't mind.
No, that's not happening. Like, it's either off or it's staying where it's at.
I just put it on 72. No one says a word, okay?
Thank you.
Because I'm gonna get into trouble, which we'll figure it out.
Appreciate it.
But how often is he back? He's not back.
Yeah. Jesus.
Why is he like that?
Yeah, that's okay.
Apparently our air condition breaks when we adjust it, but apparently it was set to 70 and somebody adjusted it. It didn't seem to break, so I don't know. All right, ice versus icing. I think Kimberly asked about this yesterday.
I just did a review.
So, what are the types of ice?
Brine, clear, and then next.
Okay, and what's the difference with how they form?
I keep forgetting this part.
Super cold liquid droplets. Is, what is that?
So
Liquid droplets is brine or
weird.
it's clear?
Okay,
But I keep forgetting how exactly it's formed. I just know the jargon of like, oh, it's super cold.
well, think about how they look. What are the
So
characteristics of how each of them
the
looks?
characteristics for clear is that it's not visible to see, whereas rhyme is.
It's milky.
Okay,
Once
And-
it's on the front of like the ailerons where it impacts the other slides along the edge of the plane.
the engine,
The edge.
oh, edge,
Wherever.
okay. So what's the difference between, so you mentioned super cooled water droplets. And we know that rime is on the leading edge of the wing, and it's that milky sort of color. And then the clear ice is clear and forms over the wing. So why may the rime ice have that milky color? What's happening?
It's accumulating.
Anybody care to add in?
I mean, wouldn't it be based on like how cold the wings are? Like, if water. Oh, what we're thinking this, does someone help?
If I remember correctly, it's the difference in size between the super cold water droplets.
Okay, Anybody else wanna add anything? 4 people in here and I hear 2 voices.
Go ahead, Justin. He loves to present. He's telling me how much he loves public speaking.
I throw me to the bus too. So, yeah, rime is smaller droplets that freeze in place, and it means you have to flow along the airflow.
So they freeze on impact versus freezing as they flow over. Which is more dangerous?
Clear,
Why?
you're not aware as much as rime.
It could change the structure of your airfoil,
Both
Whereas-
can,
rhyme. I mean, could just spoil it a little bit more, but not dramatically change.
Clear as.
Okay,
clear is the more dangerous one because it's harder to recognize.
could also add significant weight as well, and both decrease lift, but like you mentioned, the clear ice can form or change the shape of the wing, and cause the air to like separate. Yeah, so just basically speaking, clear, rime, and mixed. Clear is gonna be large, super cool water droplets that freeze as they roll over, while the rime ice is gonna be smaller, super cooled water droplets that freeze on impact. And it has that milky color because when it freezes rapidly, sort of I think oxidizing is like the word, where it just kind of releases the air into the ice. And that's why it has that milky color. Clear is more dangerous because it's a little heavier, harder to break off, harder to recognize. But both can decrease lift. And then mix is obviously both. What about types of icing?
Structural,
Induction.
Okay, and what's the induction?
Usually in circle, get on the table, not table,
Pedostatic.
pedostatic, instruments.
Are we sure that's induction?
no,
No, we're not sure.
That's convection icing,
Oh, what is it?
so it'd be like vibrator icing.
Wait, no, yeah,
So
that is.
instrument icing is gonna be things like with the pitot and static,
Um,
but induction icing is gonna be the air intake.
okay.
Yeah, so how does that work?
The
Carburetor.
carburetor or the which one, the instrument?
Like, is there a system? Almost a bit like system diagram, like is it, you know what I mean?
System diagram.
How does that work?
Let's see if we can
We
find
don't see half here.
We don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, that's why I don't really know.
I wish they covered it more on the ground school here.
Yeah, we're already,
Yeah.
it's forever, here it is. Less
It's
typical
almost
icing.
like we need like an instructor to explain it to us.
yeah,
Impact icing on the air intake is possible. Well, that doesn't tell us much. Lots of means.
Why are there no pictures?
For the injection, so air intake for the injection system, so that has to be injecting it into our cylinders. So that's not the carb icing, but instead the, you know how there's like, here's a cylinder and then there's
Fuel injectors.
fuel injectors and then there must be also air.
Fuel injection systems.
Yeah, so what do we need for combustion to occur to keep our engine going? What 2 things?
air and fuel.
Air and fuel. And if we have
Air fuel.
ice in our intake, what are we getting less of?
Air.
Air. So then that ratio might not be what's needed to keep the engine running properly.
Is there here,
That.
Trying to find a picture of it in the P hat.
Blocks with things such as the air intake system, so,
It's literally just like a hose that goes in and then it's blocked with ice.
yeah, so, kind of, yeah, so like on the commander, there's like a duct on the side of the cowl that is the air intake, so that's describing like structural ice would cover that opening.
Yeah.
Pretty sure it's
Is
the
there-
air intake that gets covered not
Can put
the-
that.
in the
Not
amount.
saying, but yeah. So like we have,
What do you have in the coffee?
so we have an induction air source lever on the commander.
That makes it warm.
Yeah, so there's a shroud around the exhaust that pulls hot air around the exhaust, and it's the same with like hard heat.
That's nice.
But
So when you pull car heat, is it doing both?
it's-
So it's just one lever, so probably the same way. In other airplanes, when you pull car heat, it's gonna also potentially heat the.
it just heats the air temperature, so like the air that's going into the engine is now hotter, it's drawing it from around the exhaust.
Yeah, so I was saying, this is like
So,
a good picture. Is we have that air intake, fuel, right, that mixture, we have ice to form, it creates a narrow passage, therefore allowing less of it through to the engine.
Is that inside the engine compartment?
Yes,
And how does the ice necessarily form? That's what I never really understood about that.
Yeah, cause it's like over 400 degrees Fahrenheit, right,
The carburetor,
in the engine.
No, it's not a carburetor here.
the carburetor is cold,
Where's the carburetor located?
like on the intake is.
Oh,
which is where that air comes in.
So, you know, how, like the lane can be super cool, like the surface of the lane can be cooler than the surface air because of the cherry effect cooling it. Same thing happens in a carburetor.
I'm just confused because in this diagram, it says the fuel is right there and the air is right there,
Yeah,
but
the fuel also atomizes, and there's like evaporative cooling, like you cause ice, so the air is humid, and it pulls some water out of the air and freeze.
but wouldn't. If it's close enough to the engine, wouldn't it just keep itself running due to the fact that the engine will warm it up?
Not really.
Not really.
No, there's fresh air flowing through it constantly.
That's true.
And it's like carburetors, the carburetors sit kind of below the engine on like Cessnas.
Hmm.
And they're open to the air almost.
Hmm.
Like the engine itself is hot, but it's separated from the engine. But
When the air that's flowing is cold, it doesn't just instantly like become hot.
yeah. So like on the Cessnas during a descent, you have to pull the carb heat out, even if it's still like 70 degrees up.
really, during descent, you still, so it's still heated up. Oh, so you don't super cool the engine.
Well,
Overcool.
no, so because it can form carbon.
And that's
I,
70 Fahrenheit, I believe, right? Yeah,
that's
Yeah,
really
70
interesting.
Celsius would be safe.
yeah.
That really puts into play, because I always memorize the written exams that say, icing can form up to 70 degrees, I'm like, that's crazy, I don't really believe that, no,
It's because there's all these cooling factors, like you have the cherry effect cooling the air and also the evaporative cooling from fuel atomizing.
Mhm.
Yeah, the stupid written questions.
What are the different severities of icing? Or any, icing anywhere, different severities, there's 4 different levels,
Severe,
what is it?
mild, moderate, and severe. Isn't there 4?
Not mild.
Not talking about hot sauce here.
I know, we love our hot sauce.
Light
I get mild all the time.
Anything before like,
Corey style,
freeze.
severity,
Trace,
moderate.
light, yes, like it's in the mouth.
experiment Zulu at, always. Has to be this,
Moderate icing, right?
and then there's, let me just hack this. Thank you for letting me take over.
Of course, makes my job
If you
easier.
wanna kick me out, that's totally fine.
Get up.
Kind of over the ground class anyway, so take over.
It's only week 2.
Alright, I'm going into ice.
No, it's a fucking 7. I've been doing this for. No, it's week fucking 17 for me because I've been teaching the PPL class straight into instrument class, and this is week 2.
Like your
Oh,
energy
seven.
just went down.
Yeah,
Yeah,
very over it.
Here we go. 1224 icing.
I really hope they don't plan on making you do another symphony class after this.
So I mean, you win a lot more as a ground instructor, I believe.
When you have the motivation, once you lose that motivation,
The money doesn't matter.
no.
It's cutting into his flight time.
That's true.
Well, I don't know about 7 a.m., but
Yeah. I mean, you should keep it 7 a.m.
uh,
Yeah, like nobody's flying right now.
Yeah, but
I think I'd rather even do a sim at 7 AM, to be honest.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But like, Sims not really. I don't know.
I can't find the definition, but I think it's on a written exam, it's fine. The FAA was able to define moderate icing, I believe, I could be wrong, as something that. Well, what I found is that. You need the de-icing, anti-icing, or it's gonna accumulate like that, that's like, you guys have seen the video of the water bottle. And it just immediately gets iced, that's like moderate, I believe, right? I haven't found this.
So this is what I found, and it's on the weather.gov. So trace usually not hazardous, even if de-icing / anti-icing equipment's not used. Light, occasional use of de-icing / anti-icing equipment removes / prevents accumulation. Moderate rate of accumulation is such that even short encounters become potentially hazard. And the use of de-icing in anti-icing equipment or flight diversion is necessary. Severe de-icing, anti-icing equipment fails to reduce or control the hazard, immediate flight diversion is necessary. And then you go a little more specific, so trace will be found in like stratus clouds. Light will be found in stratus clouds and weak weather producing systems, widespread weak cumulus or stratocumulus clouds, moderate nimbostratus clouds and weather producing systems, light freezing rain, freezing drizzle, extensive vertical development. And then severe will be in the nimbostratus and strong weather producing systems, freezing rain and cumulonimbus. I can't seem to find it in the PHAC either.
I think that was pretty good. What they did say was nimbo just for moderate, but clearly. If you're in any visible
Moisture, yeah.
like degrees Celsius down to 0, you. I don't know what level, but you're gonna get icing, right?
Okay,
That's just like the recipe, what's the recipe?
there's visible moisture and those temperatures.
Surface has to be water.
Done,
Yeah,
did you hear that?
service has to be below freezing.
And what was the key word in that?
Surface.
Surface, meaning what if it's 1 or 2 degrees Celsius outside air temperature?
Still be freezing.
Could the wings be below freezing? Yes, and it's because of that lovely V word you mentioned,
Tree effect.
Venturi effect.
That's induction.
Well, so the wind increases the tree effect. As the pressure decreases.
It has the low pressure on top, so it's something that has like the venturi with the butterfly valve that's in it.
Okay. Do you know the, like, whatever formula they do for the temperature calculation on the wing with Venturi effect?
No, but you do, huh?
No.
You know where to find it.
I bet you
They
do.
don't cover that.
I think you do know it.
Maybe.
That, I'm pretty sure that's a science thing.
Physics.
Yeah, I don't know. I
Oh,
don't know how to do this formula.
I don't know why. This is cool.
P1 minus P2 equals P divided by 2 times V2/2 minus V2/1. So do you know what any of that
But
means?
pressure and velocity, right?
I would
Because
assume
what
so.
creates a cooling here in Venturi is like low pressure, high velocity.
So I know what this means, like, right? Squared, right? But what does that mean?
Velocity 1, velocity 2, so it's velocity over.
It's like X and Y.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like a.
I didn't major in
That's
math
just
or
difference in volume.
weather or engineering, so I have no idea. There's
Feel like units.
Yeah.
Alright, well, my brain hurts, so we'll go ahead and
Yeah.
call it for today. Y'all are lovely and asked a lot of great complex questions.